Okay, now I will start today's Dhamma talk. Uh, my name is Bhante Aranavihari. So today, if you have any questions, you can post on YouTube live chat. So then Chinluk will ask me. So then I can answer. So today I thought to talk about gratitude a little bit at the beginning, and later I will talk about right view and wrong view. That is my favorites. Okay, so today actually I thought to dedicate this talk to a mother who passed her 90th birthday on last Friday, I thought. Yeah, Friday or Thursday or Friday. Yeah, Friday, I think. She passed her 90th birthday. And because we know her children who are living in Melbourne, and they are also good Buddhists, they are practicing Buddhism, and they always support monks. So then we know them very well. In the same time, this mother also we see, she visits our monasteries. So when I was staying in Ripplebrook, actually for the first time I met her, and so we had a chat, and we know her very well. Her two sons, the two elder sons, are going to the Ripplebrook, and the others also. Other sons and daughters are coming to Newbury, and so all of them are the members of Buddhist Society of Victoria. So we know them. So that's why I thought it is good to dedicate to her. So this Dhamma talk to recollect the gratitude, not only the gratitude, the service. Sometimes people do a great commitment towards their families and help them a lot. When their children were young children, sometimes their husbands passed away, and they commit a lot to their family, and without going to another marriage. So this actually I have heard that actually she had done a lot to their family, and all of them are well educated, and they are living here well. So that's why I thought to dedicate this talk to her. So anyway, I will recollect the gratitude. So how Lord Buddha talk about. So yesterday I tried to find out what Lord Buddha talk about gratitude. Actually, when I did the search using the Pali word katanyu, so I found only few suttas regarding this gratitude. Mostly Lord Buddha say it is very rare to see people have the gratitude and thankfulness towards other people. So that is what Lord Buddha say in most places. So I will read one of the suttas I found. Actually, that sutta represent most of the other suttas also. Lord Buddha, most of the places talk about gratitude in that way. So that's why I thought to read that sutta. So anyway, I would like to talk a little bit about gratitude in the present day, how people practice this gratitude. So most of the people, in some cultures actually, every culture practice this gratitude in different ways. Different modes they use to show gratitude others. So I know some cultures, they because the people actually mostly they're grateful to people who support them or help in whatsoever way. So especially I know in our this as a Sri Lankan, I know in Asian cultures, they show the gratitude towards the parents and teachers. They look after them in their old age. So that is the cultural way of doing it. So that they look after their parents, that they take it as their obligation. They have to do it. But you can't see in all cultures like that. But some cultures, they show their gratitude when they get help from others directly by telling something or so different people have different ways of showing their gratitude. I have seen in most of the time people look after their parents and in their old age especially, and they always pay respect to people who help to bring up their bodies and minds. That means in their young age, who help them. So especially the teachers, parents and teachers, and the elderly relations also come under this category. So sometimes the elderly brothers and sisters also people show gratitude towards them because they help to bring up our bodies and minds. So up to mature time, because when we were small children, when we were young, very young, so we need support to walk, speak, and behave correctly. So these things actually, when we were small children, so the parents and teachers help a lot. And in the same time, elderly family members, that means the brothers and sisters who older to us, helped us a lot. So we have gratitude towards them. So therefore we look after them. We are kind, soft and gentle to them. So this is sometimes it comes from the culture, but there is no deep root to these things. That's why sometimes they miss. They sometimes don't actually pay. They keep this gratitude when they are not in a position. That means they fall into unwholesome mental states. The way the lifestyle build up from lot of expectations. So then they have no time for spending to the people who helped them before. So they just spend their time for their living or their happiness. So that's why the people, when people don't have the right attitude towards their body and mind or their life, so naturally they build up greed and hatred based on self, I, me, myself. So therefore they missed a lot. They neglect these good qualities. Whatever thing should arise within themselves, whatever should cultivate within themselves and behave well. Because if a person practice this kind of good qualities, actually they get a lot of strength, the mental strength to do things. They are always positive and the strong when they are practicing these kind of wholesome qualities, the skillful qualities. If they build up this kind of that means gratitude, thankfulness, and helping others, giving away things, helping people by many different ways, and kind to other people, soft and gentle to other people, and build up patience, kindness. These things actually very good qualities to develop within us. So then you get the mental strength. You are happy always. You are contented. When you reflect on these actions, when you are free, when you have a peaceful time, you get the mental strength because you feel you are worthy. You are a good person. So that gives you a happiness, internal happiness, by giving away things. This is a good quality to build up within everyone. But different people have different roots. Sometimes these things come from the culture. They build up these things. Sometimes people see these things make us happy. So they identify that quality and they build up to this kind of activities. They thinking rightly and to thinking to help others and do to practice kind words, soft and gentle words, and giving things and doing the good bodily actions and verbal actions. They build up. So once they identify the benefits of this kind of actions, so it is good to know and keep in mind. So I will read this sutta because people are actually mostly driven by the craving and the five sense world objects. They're running behind five sense world objects. They are believe the five sense world happiness, but they always get the happiness from the impermanent things and not under their control of all these the external things and internal phenomena also. Your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body also not under your control. But you try to get happiness through these five senses, and later you become miserable. That's why once you give away things, it gives happiness to your mind. It will last a little bit longer than the things you are enjoying through your five senses. So that's why Lord Buddha always emphasized the right view and the liberating from these suffering consciousnesses, all kinds of. So eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and then mind. So until you are indulged with these consciousnesses, at any point you may face the suffering. So it is not easy to avoid. So that's why I would like to read first this sutta. So this is let me tell you. This is Anguttara Nikaya 5th, 143, Sarandada Sutta. So I'm reading the Ajahn Sujato's translation. You can see, you can read this sutta in Sutta Central. So then I will read this sutta. Anguttara Nikaya Panchaka Nipata Tikandaki Vagga Sarandada Sutta. Numbered discourses, 5s. Number 15 at Tikandaki, 143 at Sarandada. At one time, the Buddha was staying near Vesali at the great wood in the hall with the peaked roof. Then the Buddha robed up in the morning and, taking his bowl and robe, entered Vesali for alms. Now at the time, around 500 Lichavis were sitting together at the Saranda, the shrine. And this discussion came up among them. The appearance of 5 treasures is rare in the world. What 5? The elephant treasure, the horse treasure, the jewel treasure, the woman treasure, and the householder treasure. The appearance of these 5 treasures is rare in the world. Then those Lichavis sent a man out on to the road, saying, "Mister, please tell us when you see the Buddha." That man saw Buddha coming off in the distance. He went to the Lichavis and said, "Sirs, the Blessed One, the Perfected One, the fully awakened Buddha is coming. Please go at your convenience." Then those Lichavis went up to the Buddha, bowed, stood to one side, and said to him, "Please go to the Saranda, the shrine, out of compassion." The Buddha consented in silence. Then the Buddha went up to the Saranda, the shrine, where he sat on the seat spread out, and said to the Lichavis, "Lichavis, what were you sitting talking about just now? What conversation was unfinished?" "Well, Master Gautama, this discussion came up among us while we were sitting together. The appearance of 5 treasures is rare in this world." The appearance of 5 treasures, what 5? The elephant treasure, horse treasure, the jewel treasure, the woman treasure, and the householder treasure. The appearance of these 5 treasures is rare in the world. You Lichavis, then Lord Buddha answered like this, "You Lichavis are so fixated on sensual pleasures. You Lichavis are so fixated on sensual pleasures. That's the only discussion that came up. Lichavis, the appearance of 5 treasures is rare in the world." What 5? The appearance of a realized one, a perfected one, a fully awakened Buddha. A person who explained the teaching and training proclaimed by a realized one. Third one, a person who understands the teaching and training proclaimed by a realized one. Fourth, a person who practices in line with the teaching. Fifth one, a person who is grateful and thankful. So in the appearance of these 5 treasures is rare in the world. So this is the way how Lord Buddha talk about most of the sutras to talk about the grateful and thankful come under this set of the others. So my understanding is, because it is important to come this gratefulness from with the right view, so with the right relationship. So then that gratitude has a deep root. So then it will not lose very quickly, because sometimes when we are unhappy, we are naturally fall into ungratefulness. So that's what we can see in this world. Sometimes people help their the elderly parents. But if they understood that their parents are not giving them their wealth to them, so they neglect. So if the parents are going to give their wealth to someone else, they start neglecting and they become unhappy. So we have seen these things in the world. But if the gratitude come from the deep root, so they develop the right attitude towards all living beings, all minds, all bodily actions, verbal actions. So they are kind to all living beings. So their minds are not shaking when they are having something not according to their wishes. So when they lose their benefits or their happiness, that means they not happiness actually, they lose their benefits or the things they see as good for them. They maintain their great gratitude towards others, or their kindness, softness, gentleness within themselves. So that's why it is important to remind us, if you don't understand the Dhamma in right way, or the Lord Buddha's teachings correctly, so we can easily fall into the unwholesome mental states or unskillful mental states or negative mental states. So that's why it is good to listen to Dhamma and try to understand Dhamma in the right way and build up the right attitude towards your body and mind. So it is helpful for us to overcome all negative, unwholesome, unskillful mental states. And then you can build up the happiness within yourself, contentment, happiness, without expecting things. Because the expectation destroys your happiness all the time. That's why Lord Buddha encourages us to give away things, cut off and let go things. Cut off and let go all attachments. So then you are free. You are free to do if you are doing things, you are not expect anything return, but you just give away based on kindness, softness, and gentleness. So then I will read the second sutta. So it will give you some understanding about how Lord Buddha talk about this Sakkaya Ditthi. Sakkaya Ditthi means the view about identity view, how we take things in wrong way. So it leads to the more unhappiness or more complicated way of seeing things. That means then you go to greed and hatred. If you are not aware of this reality of body and mind. So that's why it is important to understand in this sutta also Lord Buddha say, you have to regard what are the treasures in this life, not the five sensual objects. These are so people go behind the five sensual objects. They regard five sensual objects as the treasures. That is come from the society. That is where you born and live. Anywhere you born and live. So that is because the all our thinking process based on delusion. All the society, all the people who are living among the minds and bodies run based on delusion according to Buddhism. So that's why people always fall into suffering. So that's why people can't avoid suffering, can't free their minds from the suffering mental states. So that's why Lord Buddha say the real treasures of this world is the appearance of realized one, the perfected one, fully awakened Buddha. The second thing is a person who explains the teaching and training proclaimed by a realized one. It is also, that is Dhamma Ratana. The first thing is Buddha, second is Dhamma. The third person is a person who understands the teaching and training proclaimed by a realized one, that is Sangha. Buddha Dhamma Sangha is the important treasures in this world. That's why we say Ratana, Tiratana. So the triple gem. So the person who practices in line with the teaching, that is the Sappurisa. Seeing Sappurisa is very rare thing. So it is a treasure to see a Sappurisa. And a person who is grateful and thankful is also very rare to see. So then these are the Ratanas, the treasures. Lord Buddha talk in this Saranda, the Sutta. So I will read the next Sutta and we will do a little bit discussion later. Okay. So this is the Sangyutta Nikaya 22, SN 2282. Punnama Sutta. I only read a part of this Sutta, not the whole Sutta. So you can read this Sutta in Sutta Central. So I will read the last part of this Sutta. So I thought otherwise it is too long. So the Samyutta Nikaya, Kanda Samyutta, Kajjaniya Vagga, Punnama Sutta. Linked Discourses 22, Ichi. Number 82, A Full Moon Night. Sir, how does identity view come about? One mendicant asked from Buddha. It is because an uneducated ordinary person has not seen the noble ones and is neither skilled nor trained in the teaching of the noble ones. They have not seen good persons and are neither skilled nor trained in the teaching of the good persons. They regard form as self, self as having form, form in self or self in form. They regard feeling, perception, choices, consciousness as self, self as having consciousness, consciousness in self or self in consciousness. That is how identity view comes about. Saying, good sir, that mendicant asked another question. But sir, how does identity view not come about? It is because an educated noble disciple has seen the noble ones and is skilled and trained in the teaching of the noble ones. They have seen good persons and are skilled and trained in the teaching of the good persons. They do not regard form as self, self as having form, form in self, or self in form. They do not regard feeling, perception, choices, consciousnesses as self, self as having consciousness, consciousness in self, or self in consciousness. That is how identity view does not come about. Saying, good sir, that mendicant asked another question. Sir, what is the gratification, the drawback and the escape when it comes form, feeling, perception, choices, and consciousnesses. The pleasure and happiness that arise from form. It is gratification. That form is impermanent, suffering, and perishable. It is drawback. Removing and giving up desire and greed for form, this is its escape. The pleasure and happiness that arise from feeling, perception, choices, consciousnesses, it is gratification. That the consciousness is impermanent, suffering, and perishable. It is drawback. Removing and giving up desire and greed for consciousnesses, it is its escape. So now you can see how Lord Buddha teach this Dhamma. This is not very complicated. The only thing you have to bring into your practice. So you can see the benefits within yourself. So then this mendicant asked another question, saying, "Good sir, that mendicant approved and agreed with what Buddha said." Then he asked another question. "Sir, how does one know and see so that there is no ego, possessiveness, or underlying tendency to conceit for this conscious body and all external stimuli?" One truly sees any kind of form at all, past, future, or present, internal or external, coarse or fine, inferior or superior, far or near, all form with right understanding. This is not mine. I am not this. This is not myself. They truly see any kind of feeling, perception, choices, consciousnesses at all, past, future, present, internal or external, the coarse or fine, inferior or superior, far or near, all consciousnesses with right understanding. This is not mine. I am not this. This is not myself. That is how to know and see. So that there is no ego, possessiveness, or underlying tendency to conceit for this conscious body and all external stimuli. Now at the time, one of the mendicants had the thought, "So it seems, good sir, that form, feeling, perception, choices, and consciousness are not self. Then what self will the deeds done by not self affect?" Then the Buddha, knowing that what that monk was thinking, addressed the mendicants. It is possible that some foolish person here, unknowing and ignorant, their mind dominating by craving, thinks they can overstep the teacher's instructions. They think, "So it seems, good sir, that form, feeling, perception, choices, and consciousnesses are not self. Then what self will deeds done by not self affect?" Now, mendicants, you have been educated by me in questioning with regards to all these things in all such cases. What do you think, mendicants? Is form permanent or impermanent? Impermanence. Is feelings, perceptions, choices, consciousnesses permanent or impermanent? Impermanence. But if it is impermanent, is it suffering or happiness? Suffering, sir. But if it is impermanent, suffering, and perishable, is it fit to be regarded thus? This is mine, I am this is myself. No, sir. So you should truly seeing this, they understand there is no return to any state of existence. So this is how Lord Buddha explained this Dhamma. So it is important to carefully examine these teachings and try to understand. So this is not very complicated. When you carefully analyze these teachings, you see when all your internal and external forms, feelings, perceptions, and volitions are impermanent and subject to change based on causes and conditions. So these are not under our control. So it is just a natural phenomena of happening things. So therefore, we can clearly understand this is just a natural phenomena. The notion that arises in our minds is totally, the notion about the I, me, myself is totally based on delusion. Not understanding this reality, not taking in account this reality. So that means the impermanent nature, non-self nature, and ultimately the suffering nature. The suffering nature is always coming with this natural phenomena because it is not under our control. So it is not worthy to take as I, me, myself, or it is mine. So these things arise and pass away based on causes and conditions. So that's why when you understand this nature, so you are kind to yourself and you are kind to all your experiences. In the same time, you are kind to other people also. And whatever thing they are doing and telling, you are kind to them. You do only thing, you try to help them to overcome the unskillful mental states. And you are also helping to yourself also to overcome unskillful mental states by using the wisdom, using the knowledge of this reality, the impermanent nature, non-self nature, and suffering nature. Once you use this view within yourself, you build up the knowledge, right knowledge regarding your body and mind. Then you see the internal world and external world, both, through the right view, and build up the right knowledge. So then you can help others, you can help yourself also to avoid. Because there is no fixed personality within us. These things arise based on causes and conditions. Whatever feelings, perception, volition, and whatever consciousnesses arise within yourself, always based on the causes and conditions at that moment. So that's why Lord Buddha say, you have to be kind, soft, and gentle to yourself and others, all your experiences. So then you build up the right knowledge and you build up the right skillful verbal behaviors, bodily behaviors, and skillful livelihood. So then when you have free time, you practice the right effort and right mindfulness, and then you achieve, you build up, you get the right stillness within yourself, and the mental states with the experience of the extinguishing your five senses. So then you get the direct experience of deep letting go of the five sense world, the consciousnesses, and feelings, perceptions, feelings, perceptions, and volitions related to your five sense world. All you see the total extinguishment within yourself. So these are really, really valuable. So that's why the teachers encourage to practice the path, practice meditation to deeper stages. So then you feel then you clearly experience the liberation within yourself. So then you see liberation from suffering. That is the most important thing. Because when you are engaged with the five sense world objects, always you fall into suffering because these are impermanent stuff. The five sense, these faculties also impermanent. The external objects also the impermanent. That means external faculties and internal faculties, both impermanent. So that's why you are subject to suffering. So when you train to let go things, so here in this sutta, Lord Buddha say very easily how to extinguish this suffering. So I will read that part again. So it is good to remind. Sir, what's the gratification, the drawback, and the escape? This is in Pali. I think the people who know Pali, this Assada, Adinava, Nissarana, these three words. Lord Buddha always say what arahants get, what a person when they come to enlightenment, what they get, they understand the reality of this gratification and drawbacks and the way of escape. So most people can easily understand the gratification and drawback, but you have to experience. You have to gain the ability. You have to build up the ability to escape from all these suffering mental states and bodily and the body mentality and materiality. You just free from these suffering states. So that's why it is important to keep in mind Lord Buddha's teachings. Lord Buddha say, so sir, the mendicant asked this question, sir, what is the gratification, the drawback, and escape when it comes to form, feeling, perception, choices, and consciousnesses? So Lord Buddha say, the pleasure and happiness that arise from form, this is its gratification. There's a pleasure you get from the external and internal form. So that form is impermanent. Therefore, it gives suffering and it is perishable. So this is the drawback of that experience come through the form. So it gives you suffering. So removing the giving up and desire and greed for the form, this is its escape. So the whatever form, feeling, perception, volitions and consciousnesses arise. So if you remove the desire, greed for them, so if you remove the greed or giving up the greed and desire towards these forms, feelings, perceptions and volitions, that is the way how to achieve the escape. So then you let go, you cut off and let go. You are not worrying about your feelings, perceptions and volitions. That's why you have to reflect on this impermanent nature and non-self nature. Non-self nature, these are not under your control. Your body and mind, not under your control. All forms, feelings, perceptions and volitions are not under your control. These are arise based on causes and conditions. When the causes and conditions are changing, these things also change to something else. The impermanent, external and internal, all these things are impermanent. So that's why if you keep in mind this understanding, so then you build up the ability to cut off the valuing these things and just remove the desire and greed towards these things, and you just free yourself. So that's why cutting off the attachment, cutting off the craving towards these things, and free your mind. That means you are practicing the right view, or you are practicing the non-delusion. That is the way how we practice non-delusion. Then your dependence on your five senses, you first release. You are not going to anymore depend on five senses time to time, because when you are living with this body, it is naturally you have to maintain your body and you have to depend on your five senses. But you know these senses give you suffering. So that's why when you have a free time, you put an effort to build up the right mindfulness. So that is called the eighth factor of Noble Eightfold Path. The seventh factor of Noble Eightfold Path. So you build up the right mindfulness, Satipatthana. So you establish your mindfulness on your body, the feelings, and your mind, and the Dhamma. So the reality of this body and mind. So then you establish in your mindfulness, you released, you can get the total extinguishment of your five sense world at the beginning. Later you develop the extinguishment from your mind faculty also. So that's what Lord Buddha say at the end of this sutta. But it is impermanent, suffering, and perishable. Is it fit to be regarded as this is mine, this is I am, this is myself? No, sir. So you should truly seeing this, they understand there is no return to any state of existence. That means you are not enjoy the consciousness. You are not value the consciousness. So you until you are valuing consciousness, you come back to the conscious worlds. So conscious, that means you are come to existence. Otherwise, there is no existence. There is no consciousness, means you are no more going to exist. That's why. So the final attainment is Nirodha. So the total extinguishment of all consciousnesses. So I think if there is any questions, you can ask. So is there any questions? No?
We haven't received any question yet.
Okay.
So we still got a bit of time. If you like
about 4 minutes we have. So therefore we have to keep in mind this right understanding regarding this body and mind, which gave by the people who achieved the higher states of this extinguishment. Okay.
Sorry, Bhante. One question just came up.
Yeah.
Should I read it out?
Yeah. Ask.
Okay. How does the Buddha define greed? It is different from the Western definition? Let me repeat the question. How does the Buddha define greed? Greed, hatred, delusion, the word greed? Yep.
Yeah.
And then is it different from the Western definition or Western meaning?
I'm not 100% sure, but I can say all sorts of greed, all sorts of wanting make you suffer. The greed is sometimes we only take the more coarse part, not the subtle, fine part, but the fine greed also. That means the greed means the wanting. That means the very subtle states. When you are living in this world, you have to eat, you have to drink. But when you have to do it, there is a thought come to, I should have this food, that food. I want this. So this wanting makes you suffer. So it come to very, very subtle states. But normally in our day-to-day life in this world, we say greed is the strong level of greed, but not the subtle levels. So that's why all sorts of wanting actually come under this greed. So that's why in your day-to-day life, we say greed is the strong thing. It is okay. But when you go to the subtle levels, when you go to the higher levels of the practice, but this greed, actually, the greed, hatred, delusion come to very, very subtle level. So that's why it is important to know, because the greed, hatred, delusion, greed, hatred is the most, the recent cause. That means the mentality which gives the unwholesome verbal actions and bodily actions. So that is the thing you have to understand, because sometimes the people use the divisive speech and hate speech in as verbal action, because it is based on greed and hatred. So sometimes this greed, they don't see the greed there, but because the greed, you use this divisive speech and hate speech and the frivolous speech, because there's some level of greed there. So when you are living in this life, so you quickly fall into these things. That's why you have to train yourself to avoid these things as much as you can. You have to practice the right mindfulness. That means just focus your attention to your internal world and stay with the internal world. Pay attention to your body and mind and see the impermanent nature and suffering nature and let go things. Then you can practice the Dhamma in the right way. Otherwise, the greed is in the normal, the day-to-day life. We use the greed in some context that it is not actually. It is the way how the people who bear the wrong view also they take the greed, because most of the people in this world, 99% people bear the wrong view. Very few people bear the right view. Yes.
Next question.
Okay.
In order to lose the concept of self, should one have to practice vipassana meditation? Could you explain?
Yeah, actually, if you take vipassana, actually Lord Buddha used this vipassana in a different level, but later the recent teachers use vipassana in a totally different level. But the important thing is, vipassana is not just seeing things, but practicing anicca dukkha anatta, this impermanent nature, non-self nature and suffering nature. If you are practicing these perceptions, it is right vipassana, I say, because it helps you to cut off and free your mind from these five sense attachments, or attachment to the forms, feelings, perceptions and volitions. Because some people practice in that way. So they practice anicca dukkha anatta as vipassana. So it is good, it is correct. But some people practice seeing things as they really are. They fall into thinking about things. So that is the wrong way of practicing vipassana. So if you fall into thinking, means you fall into your delusion again. Then your drives your mind based on delusion. So you see, you think, you know, you understand. There is no you here inside. So this understanding, all feelings, perceptions arise in your mind, always based on causes and conditions. When the causes and conditions change, these feelings and perceptions change. So that's why sometimes you should not regard these feelings and perceptions as always right and correct. So that's why you should first build up the ability to cut off and let go all feelings and perceptions. And you should build up the ability to free your feelings and perceptions. That's why it is important to practice the path in the right way. Then you liberate your mind from the five sense world, feelings and perceptions. And you come to a different mental state. That mental state, actually you have only the mind world, feelings and perceptions, not the five sense world, feelings and perceptions. So that's why, if you are doing the vipassana in the right way, you achieve those mental states. So the mental states without having the five sense world objects, five sense worlds, feelings, perceptions and volitions. This is very important to understand. So people do wrong vipassana and build up conceit. They don't, they have no ability to avoid greed and hatred, especially the hatred. They think they know better than others. The conceit naturally grow within themselves if you are doing the vipassana in the wrong way. So that's the problem.
Next question. How do we show gratitude to someone who may have helped us in the past, but now may not be following a wholesome life and use our gratitude and generosity in the wrong way? Should I repeat the question again?
Yeah, repeat again.
How do we show gratitude to someone who may have helped us in the past, but now may not be following a wholesome life and use our gratitude and generosity in a wrong way?
Yes. Yeah, it is important because sometimes, when we are showing the gratitude, so sometimes it is better. That's why Lord Buddha say in some places. So if you are really paying gratitude towards your parents, it is the best way to pay back to your parents is bringing them into the path, showing them to the reality of this body and mind. So give them a chance, or bring them to the people who can teach them to end suffering, or to understand the nature of body and mind. So that means the right view, to build up the right view within themselves. So then they can overcome all suffering. So because sometimes people use the other people's help, because they help their children in their small age up to, they put the full effort to bring up them to a good the people in this world. So they become the rich people. Their children become rich people. Once they become rich people, they start, the parents start playing around. That means they use their children's money or the support to live the bad lives. That means drinking and doing all bad things. This is so actually. So that time you should not, because sometimes the money and wealth make people more miserable, so more unskillful, more fall into more bad habits or unskillful things. So that's why it is good to help people in skillful ways. That means you have to use your abilities, your skills to help others to overcome their suffering, to help them to understand the reality of this world, reality of body and mind, reality of internal and external phenomena. So it is good to help if you can help them. But if there is no other way, so you have to, if it is good if you can help in the right way. That is true. That is correct.
That was the last question, Bhante.
Okay. So is it good to stop now? Okay.
I'll leave that to Bhante.
Okay, good. So that's why so we have to keep in mind, so all the time, so we have to bear in our mind the right view and use it as much as we can, and practice the satipatthana. That means the right mindfulness towards your bodies, feelings, and mind and Dhamma. So you have to establish your mindfulness on the right these areas, and keep the right attitude and maintain the right view. So that is for the today Dhamma talk. So now I am going to stop.
Excuse me, Bhante, sorry to interrupt. One question just came up.
Okay,
do you want to
yes.
answer
Another
it?
question.
We've still got
Okay,
a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
I can ask.
I was told that enlightenment will not be possible for me in this life. Then why should I study the Dhamma?
So who can tell you that you can't enlighten this life? It is. So sometimes people say these kind of foolish things. So if you put an effort to understand Dhamma, sometimes you may be able to understand Dhamma. Lord Buddha don't say that to any person. You can't understand Dhamma in this life. So if people have that ability, so you have to put your utmost effort to understand Dhamma. So then, if you can't understand in this life, you get the chance to understand even at least in your future lives. But if you neglect this life, probably you will neglect in your future lives also. If you have that opportunity to listen Dhamma and to carefully consider this Dhamma and try to understand Dhamma, it is the best way to do it. So the best chance to do it. Future is uncertain. That's what Lord Buddha say. No need to worry about other people's sayings. So if you think you have listened something valuable, you have listened something make a sense to you, so you just follow it. You just try to understand it. Try to use it in your day-to-day life. Then you can get something. Then you see the benefits of it. So then your mind happy to bear that understanding, that Dhamma within yourself. That is the way how you come into the path. So if someone say you can't, you have to think twice again, because you are not exist in this world. You, I, me, myself is wrong view. So you just forget it. You just throw away it. Because no self is within this system. Once you listen to Dhamma, then you come to the understanding. There is no self. Okay? Is there any other questions? No. Okay, good. Sadhu, sadhu. Okay, now we can stop here now. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivadem Swakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namassami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami.